And he doesn't say anything. In fact, he doesn't say anything at all. All he does, reaches into his pocket. He hands me his phone and he just nods. He doesn't even communicate. He just nods.
God damn.
Yeah, he just nods and he's like, for those who are on the podcast right now, it's basically him saying 100 words in a head nod. Yeah. But in the video, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. He nods.
In reality, he's only saying one word.
One word.
You're my bitch.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Cameramen Show. My name is Kartik.
I'm Manav.
And in this podcast, we talk about all things cameras, weddings, and business. So something interesting happened recently. I got TikTok famous.
Is this for the button popping video or is it something else?
I mean, well, so it's basically on my Reels more than my my TikTok. But on my Reels, one of my videos has gone viral.
Okay.
And that's not the video of like topic of discussion. But I mean, that one got 1.5 million views. So I'm pretty happy about that. But the one that I actually want to talk about is a video where I might actually, on the YouTube, I'll talk about it now in the sense that I made a video as a joke as a photographer when someone hands me a phone, and I did this like dance to it, and I basically gave my finger as a joke, and it was like ha 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 ha. And anyone who's a photographer knows that that's like a touchy topic for us because we get it basically all the time. And so that video went over 100,000, which is pretty decent for like, you know, views and stuff. And I stumbled across the comment section, which is now the topic of discussion for this entire podcast. Okay. And basically, this podcast is about when people at weddings hand us their phone. To start things off, I want to sort of dive into why we decided to make this podcast as a reference from that video. But it's because we get this every single time. Like when we are at a wedding and people, we're in the flow, right? We're taking bridal prep portraits or the wedding's happened. And someone comes up to us and says, can you take a photo from my phone? What are your thoughts, first of all, overall on this topic?
I find it annoying as fuck. Not gonna lie, I find it so annoying. Like I'll still do it. I still do it a lot of the times, but there has been times when I've just like straight up said, no, I'm not going to do it. It just like depends on the day, what your mood is and everything as well. But
it's like, depending on what side of the bed I woke up in the morning, you'll either have me go, oh my God, of course. Yeah, totally. I love this. It's the best thing ever. Or internally,
I'm sorry, I wouldn't.
I just can't.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. But otherwise, I just can't. Yeah. So the first topic is, or the first dot point around this topic is it depends in context.
Yep.
Right? It depends in context. And so referring back to the comment that was actually raised here, a photographer said this, which I thought was actually very interesting. And the comment was basically them saying, if an 80-year-old grandma at a wedding handed you their phone, would you not take the photo?
Oh, is this the comment that was left on your TikTok video?
Yeah, on the reel. Yeah. Now,
and what are they saying in what regard? Were they pissed off? Or?
So it's funny because I made this video as a joke.
Yeah.
And obviously,
like 90% of the video or 95% of the videos on your Instagram are just like for comedic purposes.
Just mucking around.
Yeah.
Now,
don't take that shit seriously.
Yeah. But obviously there are people out there who do. Yeah. And that's fine. To each their own. But it's all about self-awareness here, because if I'm at a wedding and a 90-year-old lady comes up to me and hands me their iPhone and says, take photo from my phone.
Obviously, you're not going to be like, fuck off.
Like, go fuck yourself. Lady, get the fuck out of here.
You're not going to like give her your middle finger or something.
I wouldn't. I really wouldn't, right? Yeah. Unless she's a bit of a bitch, but like...
Yeah, but then even, I feel like after a certain age, you get the bitch pass, bro. You're allowed to be a bitch. Right? Have you seen it with old people? They don't give a fuck about anyone. Right? And you know what? Kudos to you. You lived your life.
You've done life.
You deserve to be a bitch at this point.
Shit. You've seen shit.
You've been traumatized your whole life.
You don't have time for anything. You're like, fuck it. Just take a photo from my phone.
Yeah.
So, in context, like, would I do it? Yeah. Would you do it?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Like if I had like an 80-year-old lady or not, even 70s, whatever, right? They're elders. Like out of respect, I would do it. I'm not gonna tell like an old lady or not, like I'm not gonna take a photo with your phone or whatever. But what I do have a problem is like, why do people always get fucking offended on other people's behalf? And this goes back to the comment that was left on your video. Oh, what if an 80-year-old? Like, it's like, you're not an 80-year-old lady.
Yeah.
Why are you getting offended?
Why do you care?
Why do you give a fuck?
Why do you care?
Why do you give a shit?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I feel like people have too much time on their hands, bro.
Yeah, true,
like we do.
true.
Just talk about this. All right, let's just try and dive in straight into our points, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first point that I wrote down around this topic is I know that a lot of people are going to say we can get it on our phone so much more faster than what you can after you edit and turn around the photos.
I mean, it makes sense because I would say majority, if not most of the times, the photos that you take for bride and groom are never even going to be seen by all the guests.
100%.
Right?
100%.
It's usually like private photos.
Yep.
The couples want to just keep it to themselves.
I've literally had random people at a wedding come up to me and go, "Oh, can you take a photo of us? Like, it's really beautiful outside. It's a beautiful sunset."
Yeah.
I'd be like, in my mind,
and take it on the camera.
100%. I know you're never
gonna see this photo. You're never gonna see this photo.
I'll still take it because rapport building. Maybe.
But I've had people say that to me and then inbox message me on Instagram, be like, "Hey, can you send us the photo that you took for so and so's wedding day?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it because
my job is to just deliver to the client. Like, it's their photos.
Yeah,
they
correct.
Like,
correct.
They own the photos. Like, it's their wedding. Like, who are you?
unless
who the fuck are you?
Who are you? Unless it gets to a point, right, where you're a prospective client.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking maybe you're newly engaged.
Yeah.
Mind you, out of the goodness of your heart, you could do it. But I'm a chutia.
Okay, but thing is, it's not even about being chutia. It's just like about like how much time you have in your hands, right? And we are doing this full time to a point where we are literally, if we're not shooting, we're editing, right?
It is very,
and we're trying to like catch up on a backlog and always stay on top of things to deliver on time.
So this actually happened to me recently, and a person that I actually know, in the community, and nice guy, great guy, he's waiting on a photo from me currently, and
he was just a guest at a wedding.
And he was a guest at a wedding.
Cool.
And he wants to use that photo as a gift to the client, which I thought was actually, it wasn't even his photo. It was actually a photo of the bride and groom, or him with the bride and groom or something like that, which is very sweet.
Yeah.
Honestly, genuinely very lovely. But I just have not had the time to go through, I think, the 5,000 photos I would have taken on that day. Mind you, between myself and the second shooter, to locate the image, to upload it to my editing software, to edit it, because, we never send anything out unedited, to then upload that to some form of online platform, to then send it across. I just genuinely have not had the time. But I can see where this ties in with, can you take a photo on my phone? Because we're never going to see that photo from your camera anyways. Yeah. And if we do, it sure as shit ain't going to be the next day. It's going to be literally in like 2 to 3 months' time.
Yep.
So I can understand. So if I have to take sides here and I can, leeway and empathize here, I get it. We get it. Because yes, you probably won't see the photo that we take from our camera, and you'll more likely go, actually, you know what? Let's just give the photographer our phone because it's going to be faster.
Yeah. And also people coming up to us saying, "Hey, can you take a photo with a phone?" is also taking time out of our day to actually be taking photos with our camera.
We recently released a podcast segment just earlier last week or whenever it was, but basically, what to expect in your bride and groom prep. Now, one of the points that we talked about is the time crunch aspect of it. So, sometimes we arrive in bride prep areas where we haven't, you literally mentioned the podcast 7 minutes, I think it was. Yeah. I said sometimes I've had an hour. But now, can you add on top of that the pressure of someone going, can you just take a photo on my phone?
Yeah.
It becomes very frustrating, and we can't also show our frustration because we're vendors and we have to be professional. But sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it gets to a point where, and I know this is a point later on in our notes that we've written, but within South Asian weddings, specifically a lot of Hindu weddings and Sikh weddings, it is very commonly accepted that every family member wants a photo with the bride and groom.
Yep.
And I think we can also speak from experience from the Western weddings that we've captured and the Caucasian weddings we've captured, where that typically doesn't happen. And we see the juxtaposition between South Asian family households and them going, we need this because we've traveled from India, we've traveled from overseas, we have to be here. And this person is my brother's daughter's best friend that we have to attend the wedding for, and therefore we have to have a photo with them to represent that we've been here.
Yeah.
Now, when they go to us, this is the relationship, and they emphasize that we're very important, and they know that, you know, they want a photo on their phone. I get it, but it is very frustrating.
And uncle and aunties are the worst.
Bruh,
right?
savage.
Like, I've seen young people just come up, like, you know, the similar age group to us, take photos. Bro, uncles will just stand there, like slowly zooming into the. You know what I'm talking about? Like, all you see is the camera just come up in front of your camera, and they're just standing there, like, go like.
It gets to a point where, okay, now I'm in entertainment mode, right?
Yeah.
So I'll put my camera away and I'll just cross.
I'm
my
just standing there,
and I'm just like,
I want to see how long this takes.
See what you do.
Yeah.
First of all, the most worst one I've seen. Actually, I never talked about this before. The camera, the uncle, the Indian uncle, was doing one of these ones, but it was a video, so it was recording. Yeah. Right. So he's showing it around and whatever, and everything's like, oh wow, you know, what's going on, and I'm just dying in the background.
Yeah.
Because the uncle doesn't realize he's not recording.
Oh, shit.
You know how on video
at that point, you probably didn't want to tell him, uncle, you're not recording.
No, I'm just letting it happen. Because when you go to video mode on your iPhone camera roll, it comes up with a red camera. I don't know if you've read, like a red button that you have to press. Then it records.
Yeah.
But he thought the red button was the recording.
Oh,
so when I looked at him, I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
Because this guy's thinking that he's actually recording, but he's not. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just let you do it. It's just entertaining.
You know, that's exact same thing happened to me as well. But I was nice enough to tell the uncle.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. But I left her for a while. Just for he did like a whole round, and I'm like, "Hey, uncle, you know that's not recording." He was so embarrassed.
This is why I'm going to hell. So yeah, you press record, I don't.
Yeah.
But I get how the uncle and auntie are notorious because they want it and they want to share it amongst everyone, right? Like they've traveled far. They want a photo on their phone. They don't know when they're going to get the camera photo. I get it.
They take so long as well, though. Like they'll stand there forever, bro. Like they'll just be zooming in, taking like 15 photos of the same group, and then just go like portrait mode, landscape mode. It's just
the problem that goes to our next point is, say we're in the flow, right? It's like proper, like, you know, weddings happened and now couples are lining up. Yep. Imagine, you know, you're taking a photo and I come in like this and I'm just like right next to your camera.
Yeah.
And then
happens all the time.
Yeah, not only that,
not even next, but in front of the camera.
Correct.
Well.
They'll literally freaking like cameras right here block my frame.
Yeah.
Bruh, someone's gonna get stabbed.
And like especially like a lot of times when you're doing photos, I'm doing video next to you of the family photos or whatever.
Yeah.
And like videos on a tripod. Sometimes I'm not next to the tripod. It's just rolling or whatever.
Correct.
Like I'll just look back at footage and it'll just be like a camera just coming in front of the video camera. Just staying there, taking a photo.
Okay, so you know where I'm going with this, but now there's multiple cameras, right? So I'm the photographer, and then there's people next to me. Where do you think these uncles and aunties from across the world have flown into this wedding? Where do you think they're going to look?
Yeah.
They sure as shit ain't looking at me.
And mind you, like a lot of people don't really know about this because they've never really been told about it. Is that when you do a group photo, the best it looks is when everyone is looking at the camera of the photographer, right?
Correct.
A lot of times what will happen is like uncle is just staring like into abyss while everyone else is looking at the camera, or like you'll see this, like one person out of the group will just be looking somewhere else.
Yeah, they're out of it.
And
they're just out of it.
Like gone.
And they're usually looking at a phone.
Yeah.
You know why? I this is a big conversation, but I think they're just so used to looking at a device that when something like a camera comes in their face, they're like, well, I don't see this day to day, so why would I look at it? But they don't realize that that's the one you should be looking at.
Yeah. So, and that's the problem with when uncles and aunties are coming up next to us, either giving us their phone, like one of us giving, you know, or they're taking the photos themselves, is that half the people are going to look at your camera, half the people are going to look at the phone. Even after you tell the people, hey, can everyone look at my camera, you'll still get like one or two people that are just going to look into the phone.
I've literally had a bride and groom message me once and they go, hey, this family like took a photo with us and we've noticed that like there's 3 photos you've included in the gallery, which is great. Like, that's awesome. Sometimes I do that. I'll like double up on the same photo. But all 3 photos, like my uncle's actually looking outside and we wanted to gift him that photo. Is there any photos of that? No, there's not. Why? Because I remember on the day, there were 5 other people with mobile phones next to me.
Yeah.
You 3 were smart enough to look at my camera, but why couldn't the uncle? When I was saying, guys, look at my camera, 1, 2, 3, 4, like just right here, please. Shouting out, and mind you, my voice is gone. I've been doing this for an hour straight. There's like 30 or 40, 50 family members that's ready to line up to do the exact same thing. It becomes very difficult and frustrating to go, hey, like, please just look at the camera. And maybe I could have been more patient about it, and maybe I could have been more kinder about it. But like, when you know time is of the essence, and you know the next thing after this is the post-wedding photo shoot, and after that you got to do a few other things, you're not thinking like in the moment. And that's the part that also really gets people off guard, is when, you know, this happens repetitively with every family member. You know, across the board. And
with the eyes thing, like, you know, when you said that they're not, some people are not looking at you, the other people were looking at you, and then they wanted to send that photo. Apparently now there's like a tool that can fix that, which is like with AI or something. I don't know if you've heard about it, but there are apparently AI tools that can help you fix eyes and make them look towards the camera. So if you own that tool, sponsor us.
We're giving you a free shout out here.
Let us know what the name of the tool is. And,
just comment in the section below.
We'll put your ad in.
This is an unpaid sponsorship ad. With the rise of technology, right? So now we've got cinematic mode. You know, we've got iPhones that are doing all this blurry background stuff. AI, like where they blur the background and stuff. Then you've got portrait mode and all this studio stuff. The next point that I have is that...
I know this annoys you.
Oh, bro.
Right.
Bro, I get so triggered.
Yeah.
Is now everyone thinks that they're a photographer now.
And also, like, I've actually seen people come up to you and, like, you know, pull your leg when I've been sitting next to you. We're like, oh, look at this. I just took this photo.
Yeah.
Can your camera do this?
Yeah.
But inside you're just raging.
Yeah, like, it's like a fucking It's frustrating because it's like, I don't go up to you in the thing that you're proud of and passionate about the most and mock it and go, can you do this? Like, I don't know. You could be in finance or some shit. You could be in real estate. You could be in like clothing or fashion. And I don't go up to you in your work environment and go, hey, look what I just did. Can you do this? Am I not better than you?
Yeah.
I don't do that. And obviously because a phone is so relatable that everyone has it, I think there is a level of entitlement that people now bring upon themselves to go, actually, like, hey, I'm also a photographer now. Oh, look at this 0.5 mode. Oh, wow. Ultra wide lens. Oh, wow. And then they go, oh, wow. A bit of sun flare coming in. Oh, composition. No. Like, I think everyone looks at that moment to go, that was a sick shot. I know if I gave this to the bride and groom, they're going to post on Instagram. And
And which is, once again, like, it's an instant thing, right? You can just share it straight away.
Correct.
But I can guarantee you, no matter what angle or what you've done with your phone in whatever portrait mode, the photos are never going to look as good as a professional camera.
No.
I mean, bar some instances,
look,
very minimal.
Feel free to disagree, and if you do, comment section. We want to hear about it. Not really. But, but I do get it that, yes, you can take a really wow photo on your phone.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that now that you've taken it, you come up to me or Manav or any photographer for that matter, in the middle of them in flow.
I
right?
guarantee after someone watches this, they're going to come up and just start triggering us.
They'll be like, hey, look what you should do like this. Yeah.
Anyone watches this, like, there's like 10 people coming out into wedding just to troll. Yeah.
I get it that you're probably excited to share that photo with a photographer. Maybe you want validation. Maybe you want a bit of like criticism and fear. I don't freaking know. Or you're like, hey, fuck you. I can just do a better job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fine. But don't do that.
Also, the next point is about being able to say no when someone comes up to you and gives you their camera. And I know you've experienced this, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, which was in the middle of a ceremony, right? Oh, you know what I'm talking about, right?
My God.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. So before Kartik talks about this is about when someone gives you their phone to take the photo. I'm generally totally fine with it. Like most of the time, I'm going to take their phone.
I'm not.
Most of the times, I'll take their phones. I'll take the photo for them. It's fine. Then I'll just go back to doing my own thing. But there are some instances when you can just straight up just say, no, thank you. I will not do that. And that happened to you, even though you still ended up taking the photo because you're a little bitch. You just talk shit.
Like, bro, when I give you this example, you're not going to be like, there's no way you could refuse that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me set the scene. All right. For viewers on the podcast, video people watching, any other platform you're streaming this shit on, pay attention. 300 people, ceremony, peak, going on, in the thick of it. You're running around. Bam, 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 bam.
Bride and groom already at the front.
Bride and groom at the front.
Everyone. It's like
everyone.
Things going on. It's not like a starting of a ceremony. It's right in the middle of the ceremony.
Bro, shit's going down, right?
Yeah.
You got 2 camera straps to your body. Freaking pew, pew, pew.
Like you're walking around.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everyone's silent. Not pin drop silence.
Yeah.
In fact, only the celebrant speaking, Baba Ji, because it's a Sikh wedding for context.
Yeah.
Silent. All eyes are actually at the front. So any movement, everyone can see it because you're the only one moving. So as a photographer, I'm very comfortable with the fact that people are going to see me move around. It is what it is.
I can see like smoke coming out of your ears.
You just see like a vein popping on my forehead. Pupils dilating and shit. Okay. I'm triggered right now.
All right. Stay calm.
Stay calm. So, of all people, what I definitely did not expect is the bride's father waving for my attention.
Yeah.
To tell me to come up to him. To then,
So what did you think initially when he was just waving to you?
I'm thinking, have I done something?
Yeah,
have I done something wrong?
Yeah.
Or I'm thinking maybe something's in the way. Or I'm thinking like something's gone wrong because you can't just wave at me
right in the middle of
the ceremony
while
to
the
get my attention,
celebrate's going on,
knowing very well that I've got a job to do. So whatever I'm doing has to be important that you can come up to me and distract me to go, I need to tell you something.
Because initially when you told me, I thought maybe like you're blocking someone's view or something. And he was like, okay, even then, it would be a bit weird.
But mind you, how could I really? Because I'm moving around.
You're moving around anyway, yeah.
So he waves his hand and he does one of these ones. And for the listeners on the podcast, it's basically waving and annotating like just for me to come towards him. So I'm like, okay. And he's got a few people watching him now at this point because it's a very sudden movement and in the middle of everything. I'm like, okay, whatever.
And you got a lot of people watching you.
Yeah. Because I'm standing up.
You're literally,
I'm in the front. And he doesn't say anything. In fact, he doesn't say anything at all. All he does, he reaches into his pocket. He hands me his phone and he just nods. Doesn't even communicate. He just nods.
God damn.
Yeah, he just nods and he's like, for those who are on the podcast right now, it's basically him saying 100 words in a head nod. Yeah. But in the video, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. He nods.
In reality, he's only saying one word. You're my bitch. Do this shit.
I own you. So he gives me his phone.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, like, how could I? I just couldn't. I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
I was a little bitch. I was a little bitch.
Look, bro, in hindsight, you can sit here and be like, if someone else would be like, I would have done this, I would have done that. When you get put in that situation and it's a really awkward situation.
It's really awkward.
The last thing you want to do is like create even more drama in the middle of a wedding. And be like, and then people are like, the photographer, they did this, did that,
like,
right?
Imagine I said, uncle, no.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm here to do a professional job that your daughter's paid me good money for. Bruh.
Yeah.
I'm going to get cancelled.
Yeah.
The bride's going to be like, bro, you could have just taken a phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I took the phone.
So you took the phone.
Like the little bitch that I am.
Yeah.
And everyone could tell that I was pissed.
Yeah.
Bruh, my face was, and I wanted people to know I was pissed.
And for people that know, this guy is the worst at hiding when he's pissed off or when he's annoyed. Like you can like literally tell from like like a kilometer out that you're like pissed off.
I legit took his phone, went around the altar, click, click, click. Bro, I was fuming. Mind you, the bride and groom looked at me and they started giggling because they're like, are you And you know what's funny? The phone of the dad had to make it worse, I'm fairly confident, if I remember this correctly, had the worst glitterish, goldish fucking case on the phone. So we're not talking about like a subtle phone.
So you're not just a little bit, but you look like a little bit.
Like, it got that bad that I can't even discreetly pull out a phone that's like a black iPhone with no case on it. Bro, I'm pretty sure this was pimped out.
Yeah.
So it had like, not diamonds and shit, but it was basically like, it was very colorful.
Yeah, like shiny stuff.
Yeah, it was shiny. So... And it was the big iPhone Max-ish one, right? Yeah, freaking big one. So I'm a little bitch, and I'm basically like taking photos, and people are, bro, they know I'm triggered.
Yeah.
They know I'm triggered to this day. Right? I'm like PTSD. I'm in therapy for this shit, bro.
I've shot weddings with you after where people have come up to you and said about this.
They've literally talked about it.
Oh, we could tell. We're so sorry.
Yeah,
we could tell that you're really...
Like, I've had people come up to me and go, I'm so sorry for that. I'm like, you don't even know that person or you know of him, but like, it's messed up.
Yeah.
So... Like, the point that I guess the topic is on this note is you got to pick and choose your moments, because there are times where you can say no in a very polite way. In a very polite way. And I have had it. I've gone up to families, or who have come up to me rather, and they're like, oh, excuse me, can you take a photo from my phone? And I say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't, but somebody else can.
My problem with this whole thing is that, you know, when like you got like 10 people coming up, taking photos after one after the other, whatever you're talking about, why can't just one person take a photo and then just airdrop the photo to 10 different people of the same group?
Isn't that called common sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, would that not make sense?
Yeah.
But why?
Like, why are like 6 people taking the same photo? Why don't just one take it? And like, usually the people that do this, they already are friends and they already know each other. They have like, you know, similar friend groups or whatever. Just share the photo to the other person.
It's like one person will hand you a phone, then another person will hand you a phone with the exact same thing. Like you're capturing the exact same thing. Bro, do you guys not think?
How about, hey, just take a photo and then, hey guys, can we just share that amongst everyone? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Like, it blows my mind. It genuinely blows my mind. But yeah, like, that's the hardest thing that I've realized in this.
Also, I think this happens the most during like, you know, like Sikh weddings and Hindu weddings when, like, for example, Hindu wedding mandap photos are going on. Or like during the Sikh weddings when you're like downstairs of the Gurdwara that we shoot at, where like, you know, there's like a line there to get the photos done. This is like notorious for that time.
For any photographers or any guests who are watching this who aren't familiar with South Asian weddings, because we're known in our culture for having literally hundreds of guests attending. And if you're anyone from an ethnic background, you probably also agree with this, like Lebanese even.
Yeah.
You realize that there are hundreds and hundreds of guests.
And I mean, wedding. We're talking like 350 is just like a normal
That's day. A normal day.
That's a normal day.
That's a very normal day.
500, oh yeah, we've got a few more people.
That's a few more people. Yep.
1,000.
Yeah, shit's going down.
I've done 1,400 people weddings.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Damn.
Where no one could see what was going on at the front of the wedding, at the back of the hall. So they had to put like TV screens around the hall. It's like, why don't you just stay home?
Unnecessary. But now, okay, so now let's just picture bride and groom want to get out for post-wedding photos, but they have 350 guests to get through.
And everyone's got to come and take a photo with them.
Everyone wants a person
with
a phone.
Some couples like hate that shit. Like, I've come across some couples that will literally be like, you know what, we just want photos of us, our immediate family. Maybe like half an hour, and then they literally just cut off after half an hour.
Yeah. I think this is where I get ruthless. Like, I don't be a little bitch then, and I literally say no.
I'm pretty sure you will be. But
I might be. Look, I might be, but I try not to be. Like, if someone comes up to me and says, excuse me, I'm like, no, sorry, somebody else.
Yeah.
That's as nice as I'll say it.
Fair.
But somebody else has to do it.
Yeah.
I just realized another part where it does interrupt our workflow, bride prep.
Yeah.
But not from anybody, but from brides and bridesmaids themselves.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting one, because now we're having direct contact with the bride about this.
Yeah.
And I can understand that you might want a photo on your phone.
Yeah.
I have shot quote unquote influencer weddings, or people who have a following.
Yeah.
Just label it as that. And I know for a fact that part of their social brand relies and will rely heavily on their wedding content.
Yeah.
Now, they're also aware that the fact that wedding turnaround time will be a month to 3 months. So they'll put a bit more emphasis on their phones. Have you had a lot of weddings where brides have come up to you and gone, hey, can we take a photo of my phone?
Not specifically brides, but recently I've been bumping a lot into like content creators at weddings, which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times they do, and like look, a lot of the times they are really good to work with. And I totally understand that there is like a gap in the market where, you know, we're not going to deliver our stuff for like 3 months or whatever. And if you have a content creator there who's going to, you know, take the videos and deliver to you within 24 hours. I get it. Like, it's an exciting time of the day. You know, it's an exciting time for you, and you want to see all that ASAP. But the amount of times I also see content creators get in the way of photographers.
It is literally an etiquette. There is an etiquette around this. There is genuinely an etiquette around this. Like, I will literally set up a shot, and I will explain what I want the shot to be. Like, oh, girls looking at each other and laugh. I don't need anyone else to jump in at that moment.
Yeah.
Let me do my shot.
So part of why couples pay us is to direct them.
Correct.
Right on the day.
Yes.
Now, if you have another content creator who's directing the couple while we're trying to set up a shot, and then they just come out of nowhere and they're like, oh no, but do this instead. Like, oh man, I find that so annoying.
A kid doesn't walk into a classroom with 3 teachers.
Yeah.
They have one.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care how knowledgeable these people are.
Yeah.
Just one teacher, just to simplify it. So
just to keep things moving on the day more than anything. Like, just to make sure that we get, like, you know, all the shots that we want. Because obviously, like, if you think about, like, out of content creator, out of any friend or anyone else, the clients paid us the most.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we are missing shots because of content creators or other people coming in front of our, you know, of our cameras or whatnot, like, it's just,
it does get a bit messy. It does get a bit messy.
Annoying.
But it's harder when the phone behavior comes from the bridal party directly.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it if it's every now and then, but I do mind it in the thick of things. Like, now's not the time.
Yeah.
Like,
and also this whole content creator thing, I feel like this could just be a podcast on its own.
We will probably talk about this at some point.
There's so much to talk about in
because
that regard
I think
as
there
well.
is a gap in the market, to Manav's point. I think there is a gap in the market, but I think because it's such a new role, there hasn't been a defined relationship yet.
Yeah.
Whereas photographers and videographers, when they started to work together, there was naturally friction.
Yeah.
But it became the thing. That, now we're used to it.
And you always see, like, similar people that you always work with. Like, for example, I'm working with you, or I'm working with, like, you know, another vendor
or something.
Whoever, like, I've worked with many times. And usually that's not a problem. But as you said, because this is a very new thing, especially in the South Asian market anyway, it might be happening in the other markets for a while, but there's not really like a proper set etiquette at the moment where they, like, the content creators need to know, like, hey, don't get in the way of the photographer while still getting your content. Because at the end of the day, your content is more like a BTS content, more like candid, natural stuff, as where we need to make sure our photos look sick every time. Like, you know.
An opportunity that I just thought about in terms of, like, how do you get someone who is very adamant on the phone photos? And this is where I've seen happen before at a wedding that I captured, which I thought was actually very genius. Yeah. Bridesmaids and groomsmen sometimes get involved and they delegate. So I'll get your thoughts on this, but basically I've been at a wedding where one bridesmaid takes a phone of the bride and takes a photo on her phone, but doesn't interrupt. And they don't really care if the bride looks at them, but they just take a photo very quickly.
Yeah.
And they'll do that for everything. So you can think of it as
fine.
You can think of it as a content creator, but not creating. They're just kind of there.
But, like, as long as you're not, like, stepping in and just changing the whole shot that we've set up, I think it's not a problem. Like, take as many photos as you want. Obviously, it's your wedding day. You're getting dressed up once. You're spending all this money.
Correct.
Like, take as many photos as you want, as long as you're not, like, just jumping in the front of the main photographer and then just changing everything that they literally just set up like 5 minutes ago. So, yeah,
I think
because that has happened. To me,
definitely.
And I'm pretty sure that's happened to you as well.
Oh, bro, all the time. But, like, because it's such a close relationship to the bride or to the bride themselves, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Like, it bores me to the bone. Like, I'm, like, bothered by it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be like, oh, go F yourself. Like, I'll be like, oh, okay, it is what it is. But there is an etiquette around it. There is a way around it. And in terms of, like, this moving forward, we'll always know this is going to happen. I also think this can overlap from vendors as well.
Oh, yeah.
And you know exactly where I'm going with this. There have been decor vendors that we know of. There have been hair and makeup artists that we know of. And we don't have to dive too much into this, but we're in the middle of bride prep.
Yeah.
I need space, and as do you, to do our shit.
Yeah.
Right? To get our shit done.
Yeah. Because we already talked about this on the other podcast that there's a very limited time in the morning and you have to get so much done in that limited time. Yeah.
Now imagine I'm a decor person.
Yeah.
And I come up to you in the middle of middle of your workflow, and I come up to you. Oh, Manav, but can you take a photo from my phone for my website, please?
Yeah.
Please? I know you do good photo, huh?
Yeah.
But imagine like I've had vendors, so not just guests here, come up to me and give me their phone because they want something for their business.
Yeah.
Now, you will get that at some point from the bride and groom when I send them the gallery. And if you don't get it, that's a them problem and that's a you problem. But my job is to get the photo for the bride and groom. They're my client. Like, they pay me to be there. I think it does become a bit frustrating when vendors who should know this etiquette are giving you their phone now. Do you know what I mean? Let us know what your thoughts are. Like, have you guys had any experiences if you're a photographer? Like, what do you do when someone hands you their phone?
Yeah.
Or is there a way that you kind of handle it? Or if you're a bride and groom potentially watching this, or a bridesmaid or a guest watching this, comment down below. And let us know if you disagree or if you agree.
Probably a lot of people will disagree with what we just said, but
don't cancel us.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys.
We'll see you on the next one.
In the next podcast.
Peace.